It's all like I know I hit go live and we were just like talking. I was like, should I just hit like go live in the middle of our conversation? Because that's what we do on Twitch. We never have an intro for these shows.
It's weird, right? Like, how do we tackle that moving forward? Do we have like do we create an intro?
I mean, I don't want to do like we're not going to use like a song or anything, but should I just like welcome people? Be like, hey,
why don't we do a song?
You want? Do we need Kylo to like create a new song?
Just use a copyrighted song. We're not. This is not monetized anyway.
We can do that. Should we play like the Bud Matt theme?
No, we're not going to play that. I know we're not playing that. Definitely not. No. Yeah, I don't know what we'd play, but it wouldn't be that. Nothing downstate. Even Cody Rhodes' theme is off the board. No way. Yeah, there's some folks here that people are excited about. They're talking about professional wrestling.
Wrestling is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't stand it, but other people seem to enjoy it.
It's pretty popular right now. We could do the countdown, but that seems obnoxious to me. You know?
I don't like the countdown, honestly. Like, that's why I don't use it. I know you guys will use it on like for Gren stuff, but like I don't actually.
But that's, we use it as like the bit is surely no one would be sat their own arse that they would use this legitimately, but no, they do use it that way.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I mean, maybe that is like the bit is like we use it, but everyone's in that we don't actually want to use it.
We use it and then it ends. Like we always end it at a different time to make sure we keep it on the edge of their seats. There's one time you just hit it and just pull off a straight 28 seconds and we're there. You're ready to go. So the thing is, Denise is like, she's popular. I'm not referencing Denise.
I am.
But if you do a show that's like got 2 live viewers, you probably don't need to do a countdown. You probably just go live. Just go live and be done with it. But anyway, Jeremy, how are you on this beautiful Monday evening here?
No, Joel Pearl. I don't want to employ a welcome screen of sorts. This is what we're trying to go through. Is like I don't want to do any of this stuff. I'm well. It's like gloomy here in Ohio. How is it there in Britland?
It's pitch black. It's 8 p.m. I'm very, very tired. That's why we're doing the show early, because I thought I was going to fall asleep on the air. I have no notes. So I have nothing to actually talk about. I just thought,
great. Should be a fantastic show.
Well, these things happen in MMA, as you know, Jeremy. And this is my, as the rumors are out, I'm going to confirm them now. This is my final week before disappearing for 10 days. That'll be quite the...
We've got to figure out a show. I need a co-host for next week.
That'll be fine. I've got someone in mind.
Okay.
I've got you covered, bro. It's fine.
Right, cool.
But, this is going to be an interesting week because I try to get myself in a mindset where I'm ready to go away for a while without actually killing my career completely. So I can't do anything that's so drastic that people kind of don't want me to come back. So it's going to be a real sense of navigation for me. And with that in mind, we have a big topic today, Jeremy. I don't know if you've heard, but the Queen Charlotte Flair she's a big talking point right now. Have you heard about this, Jeremy?
I have heard that the Queen Charlotte Flair has got a lot of heat going around her. So I know you watched this segment live on the Late Night Grin on Friday. Yes, I remember being on it and you were on your phone watching the clip of it and you were like, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. What is
Amazing.
This? What is this supposed to accomplish? And apparently it just accomplished pissing everybody off because Charlotte dropped the title. She apparently wasn't supposed to. Becky thought it made her look bad, which is not good. And then Alex McCarthy, our buddy Alex McCarthy from Talk Sports, said that they were supposed to have like a little cat and mouse type thing. The timing was off. The title fell. I don't know how much of that is true, but that's what he says. They got to the back, Becky and Charlotte. They got into a heated argument, according to multiple reports. According to PWI Insider, Sonya Deville wasn't happy with Charlotte either. They edited the segment out of the encore on Fox. Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun. Okay, before we go any further here, my intent, Jeremy, is to fill half an hour talking about this subject. So,
okay,
seatbelts on, okay. I think there's an interesting conversation to have, and you and I probably aren't best equipped to have it about. There is something awfully human about the things we're hearing about the Queen Charlotte Flair. And I can relate certainly to just being sort of, well, she seems to be somewhat insecure based on the reports. I don't know the person, but that's the kind of vibe that a lot of these sources are giving off, and that's interesting. And professional wrestling certainly breeds that, especially that particular workplace where everyone has to be in some sort of rat race to the top. I get it; it's toxic. I also think that, yes, Charlotte Flair would look like an absolute idiot if she just stood there and watched Becky Lynch hold up both belts. I agree with that completely. And, the side of the story that was definitely not from Charlotte's herself, that's why their friendship ended, I completely understand that too on a human level. So, no, I'm not trying to say anything here is like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, basically, is what I'm saying. However, and I went into this briefly on the Patreon, but like, how are people selling this whole deal with any kind of surprise, I mean, I don't watch WWF TV weekly, but I've watched enough of it this year to know that Charlotte Flair just stopped selling for people and was just actively popping herself with 4 cut-offs a match, and sometimes she would work babyface as a rib, and she would do all of these things, and then these stories come out and people are stunned by it, and it's like, I mean, I don't want to be dismissive, Jeremy, but this feels like the least surprising thing ever, right? Just watching her matches gave you a pretty good clue.
I mean, she and Nia Jax got into a shoot fight when they fought each other because Charlotte was reportedly unhappy that she was losing that match, and they were doing a heel versus heel match, and it was an awkward start and everything. It was yeah, again, we've watched it enough. We've commented on it before, how she just didn't sell. I mean, the Nikki feud did Nikki no favors with the way that was presented and with the way Charlotte was working a lot of those matches. I don't think it's a huge surprise. I don't put this fully on her. I mean, should she, be a little bit better, especially when she's in the ring? Yes. But as far as this particular segment with the title swap thing, again, maybe be more professional in the ring, but don't book this dumb shit. Just Everyone knew it was a bad idea. Apparently Charlotte even said I don't want this to make me look weak. Like you said, Becky holding up 2 belts and Charlotte doing nothing about it doesn't look good. Don't book a stupid title swap. Everyone knew this was going to be a bad idea. Just don't do it. I don't think they do their performers any favors with the dumb shit they book. Again, should there be some more professionalism on camera? Yes. But they've created a not great environment in many ways. And whether it's something like this, where performers are asked to look bad on TV when they're unnecessarily so, or whether they legitimately make their own performers lose confidence with the way they book them, it's not good. It is not good at all.
A couple of questions. Firstly, am I the one that put Joseph Hulbert as my own name? Because if so, I've massively owned myself.
You did, unless Shoot did it on the Grin and it just remained.
I don't think
I didn't change it.
Just for owning myself to that degree, I'm just going to have this as my name now. That's what I deserve. But okay, yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. The thing with Charlotte Flair, the Queen Charlotte Flair, is it's very difficult from the outside looking in to really get a read on it, because I know that when she came back at the start of this year, she talked about how she had certain ideas and there was a plan in place, and then they just sort of went, well, we've had enough of that and we're going to do this Lacey Evans thing. And if she is actively pitching things that are different to what she's been doing on TV, then I very much sympathize. However, her track record is not the greatest in terms of the way that, and this is not necessarily her fault, so I understand that. But look at the track record in terms of how people come out of programs of her, I mean, she talks very, very highly of Rhea Ripley, but good God. I mean, they had that one pay-per-view match, and it was a really good match, but she legitimately did a babyface comeback in the middle of it as a heel, and I mean, it was good stuff, but that's not generally what you would do when you're wrestling someone that's less established than you and is a babyface. But that's what she did. It goes back to the Banks program and all that came with that. And that Twitter thread sticks with me, Jeremy. I'm going to be honest with you. That one where she was I looked up at the lights for for Becky
Oh,
Lynch,
yeah.
and I did my. It's like basically her saying like I paid my dues, brother, and it's like, I mean, you lost to someone that was more popular than you. I don't know if you deserve like a sort of medal for that. Like sort of I don't know. It's difficult.
She did good business in NXT, Joseph. Remember when she won the NXT title and then dropped it, but didn't get pinned? And it was a triple threat match.
Yeah, I thought you meant like back in NXT and like back in the olden days. You mean like the
No.
last year? Yeah,
Yeah, last year.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. And this gets into a bigger conversation that we've had all the time, which is like, I don't know what Charlotte Flair is or isn't for that business, which is hilarious because she is approximately a 27-time world champion. But like, I just don't know if she's someone that. And Alton was this for a long time. I think he's probably got over it the last 4 or 5 years. But like, she strikes me as someone that when she comes out, WWE audiences react to her because like they've been trained to think she's a big deal. But how much people actually care about her as a professional wrestler, how much she's actually connected with people, I would suggest not very much personally. And I even think you could use the most dumb test for this. Like if you tweeted right now that every one of the horsewomen, if you just did single tweets for them, was like Bailey sucks, Becky Lynch sucks, Charlotte Flair sucks, Sasha Banks sucks. You know which one would get the least quote tweets by about 150%, right?
Yeah.
And like that's not science by any means. But I just think like when she was gone from TV, I don't remember anyone like sort of frantically looking for when she was going to come back. It's just she's a cog on the wheel. And I'm intrigued by how this plays out politically because in that case, what is her actual leverage? I don't know. Has she got leverage, Jeremy?
I mean, I think her leverage, she obviously has the AEW leverage. And I don't know if they'll seemingly release anybody, right? Like we thought Bray Wyatt was pretty safe. We thought Braun Strowman was pretty safe. Like I think the only person who's like actually safe at this point is Roman. Like if they said that this person is released tomorrow, I don't think I would be all of that stunned. And if certain people said they wanted out, I would not be all that stunned. Like I think they see everybody as just a cog on the wheel type thing.
Right.
Obviously, I think Vince likes Charlotte. That's why that's why he gives her 15 title reigns and everything. But if she says, "Hey, I'm out of here," I'm not sure they're going into a panic mode of like, "Okay, well, what do you want? What can we do? What can we do differently?" I think they're probably just like, "Well, take some time. It'll be okay." And they're not gonna I don't think outright release her, but I don't think they're gonna like put up this big fight either.
It's just interesting because look, I mean, leverage, what does leverage mean, right? Whatever, but I don't try to be dismissive, but I just don't think there's an audience she would bring with her to Dynamite. I would be stunned if that was the case. Now, I think the AEW crowd would react to her because she's a big star and she's coming to that. That would be a big deal. But I certainly don't think there's like an audience they would gain from signing Charlotte Flair. They would sign Charlotte Flair for obvious reasons. That's not the debate here. It's just, I don't know. It's, yeah. Like, I agree with Jacob that like they've pushed her to such a degree that losing her feels like a big L because they've established her as a massive deal within their own product, even though she probably actually isn't that big a deal in the business sense. It's fascinating, man. I'm going to pat myself on the back on this, Jeremy. You couldn't speak to this. Like, I was way ahead of the curve as to there being trouble in paradise with her in WWE. Like, I remember us talking about it long, long ago. I was like, she's inevitably going to be in AEW. And then, look, full disclosure, that is not the case. That's not been reported. I'm just saying you got the sense that she was not satisfied with her creative. Whether you agree or disagree with that, you could tell. She was not hiding it. So.
Oh, yeah. She outright said it in a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
That, she wanted to do more. She wanted the title reigns to mean more. She wanted to be established a certain way. And, like, it never happened. Even after these interviews where she said she wanted this, like, it still didn't happen. It was the same stuff over and over again. Because remember she came back after WrestleMania and she cut that promo that everyone was like, oh, man, what a great promo. They're finally, like, showing that, like, she's leaning into this opportunity and being a heel and everything. And it's just, like, it's the same stuff she's always been doing. She just uses different catchphrases now. That's it. That's all it is.
Yes, and in ring there comes a whole other set of problems because she's objectively a very good big match wrestler and she's had some classic matches. But if you're really going to sit there and tell me that you can't see some of the issues she has presented them as of late, you've not watched the matches. Fair to say. I mean, I was only watching the pay-per-view stuff. Like the last one I watched with her and Alexa was like I couldn't. She cut her off like 3 times, and it's like I know their matches are produced a certain way, but as a heel, you have to. There has to be some give and take there, right? So it's like if you know the finish, and again, if Charlotte Flair, the Queen Charlotte Flair, is watching this, I'm not alleging this is your call. It could have been the agent. I don't fucking know. I'm just commenting on this generally. If you know the finish is the heel going over, you would generally not produce the match to be a 95% heat segment with one comeback and then you cut off immediately. Okay, generally speaking. This came only 2-3 weeks after Nia Jax had to punch her in the face because they were having such an issue trying to figure out a match. That isn't necessarily an indictment on Charlotte. Nia Jax has had her own issues in there. There was obviously a famous one that a pal of mine sent me this last weekend of when Liv and Ruby hit one of their tandem, one of their tag team moves on her and she kicked out at 0. At 0. There was another one that was sent to me of Shayna Baszler looking like she wanted to punch her because she wasn't selling any of her shit. And I get it. I understand being, protective of your spot. And in some ways I respect it because I like that old school shit. But that is a real thing in terms of what she brings, in terms of whether it's a positive or negative, because I do not know. And Bill Murphy is correct about the entire pandemic, but Alexa and Charlotte in that pay-per-view match was a very clear heel and babyface dynamic. Yeah. That wasn't the thing. It was just she didn't, and here's the thing, full disclosure, I'm only using that as an example because I watched that match a month ago? It feels like years ago, but it was a month ago. And I remember you and I having a conversation about if ever there was someone that she would want to work with, it's the person she says in every interview, I'd like to work with this person. And it still stood out to me, is what I'm trying to get across here. Rhea Ripley, she loves, by all accounts. And she would sell for Rhea, but didn't get a lot out of that program, Rhea Ripley, did she? If we're being honest with each other. They had some cool matches, but I don't know. And this, you could argue, well, that was all grey area stuff. Rhea wasn't a full baby face, but I don't know, man. If you're going to have a top star that's going to be selfish in there, which is what the reports are and the rumor and innuendo, as dipshit would say, I think you would rather she be more of a needle mover, so to speak, than she probably is. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, you said it when you said okay, if she went to AEW, obviously their fans would pop for it and people might be excited and everything, but what fan base is she bringing with her? And it just makes me think of we know somebody like Bray Wyatt has a fan base. You mentioned the 4 Horsewomen thing, Bayley, Sasha, Becky. There's even Naomi, Liv. Feels like they all have a very strong fan base. They'd be yeah, I'm following this person no matter where they go. And with Charlotte, it just doesn't feel like there's much of that. And maybe we're too much into a Twitter bubble and her fan base reaches kind of further outside there. I don't know. But if she does go to AEW, I'm not sure it's just, let's tune in because it's Charlotte Flair. It's probably just let's tune in because it's someone from WWE coming over. Let's kind of see what happens. Not because it's going to be this mass exodus of fans because Charlotte Flair has left. I don't know I don't know the Charlotte Flair fan base. I really don't. I was a fake Charlotte Flair stan for a while. The fun gimmick. Didn't get over the Sasha Banks gimmick did. But yeah, I just don't. I don't know with Charlotte. It'd be somebody said, and I'll find it here in a second. I think it was Reese. Reese said that have a level of confidence in the positive environment in the fleet, misguided or not. And I think that's kind of where I'm at as well. If she did go to AEW, you would think that because of that backstage environment and everything, she would be more akin to be all right, cool. Let's do business. They're going to book me better. They're not going to have these, I got to have the title every time. They're not going to know what to do with me if I don't have the title. But the flip side of that is, does she think that she just always deserves the title? And then if she does, is that going to lead to a lot of issues?
It's interesting, right? Because she says stuff that make you think that was the case, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with the chat that the Rhea Ripley feud was mostly on creative. However, I think
It was.
we all as a family can accept that if she was feuding with Bayley or Banks, she would absolutely have come out of that better than she did feuding with Charlotte Flair, even if the creative was the exact same. They lay their matches out differently. That's just objective. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, just look at the Bianca feud. Like, look what Bayley did for Bianca compared to what Charlotte did for Rhea. I mean, now Charlotte is going to face Sasha, and it's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. Has it been a while that when they've like actually faced?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I mean, they're on different levels now. Like, we always thought Sasha was a star back then. Charlotte was always presented in a certain way. Like, Sasha, there's no denying what Sasha has right now. I'm very interested to see how this goes, and not so much from a television perspective, because I think television wise, it's going to be the same nonsense they always do, but just sort of the read between the lines perspective of everything.
Yeah. So this is where I get really confused, and I struggle with it, because like, it just feels like Banks should be presented on a much higher level than Charlotte Flair.
I agree. Yeah.
But like, that isn't at all how they see it. Mm-mm. And I would like to know why. I'd like to know the metric they have that suggests that needs to, because listen, she may be polarizing in some regard, but like, Sasha Banks is a star. And not only that, she is an absolute in-ring genius. Like, you can't question what she brings as a talent, right? Like, there's some flaws there, and the promo can be frustrating at times because it feels like she can do it, and just like sometimes it isn't there. I wish she was a more kind of, and this is 100% correct, like a creative thing on both sides. This is neither of their fault, but like, they're going to do that feud, and it's like, she turned heel 3 months ago. Why is Banks now a babyface again? Well, we have to do this feud, and Charlotte can't be a baby. So that stuff's brutal, and that's one of Banks' biggest weaknesses, is that they can't pick a side for her. It's really frustrating, but she's just objectively higher on the big board than Charlotte Flair. And the way they present them is not that way. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's such a weird deal, because it doesn't surprise me, but it's so hard to read because it's truly unique in that she is actually the most decorated women's wrestler in the history of the promotion. And that on its own makes this a major story, and we're talking about it here because, well, for many reasons, but it is a big story. But like, this thing is unraveling real quick, huh? Like, these, I mean, when Wade Keller suddenly starts reporting, you know that there's some shit going on, because Wade ain't just trying to get no like throw his name in the game. He's been told all of that stuff pretty ardently. So I don't know. I keep sitting here kind of pondering what it looks like, her being outside the promotion, and as an AEW fan, it's kind of like, oh fuck.
You're quitting. You're turning in your fleet card, right?
I am, burning my flags and my banners and all that stuff. But I also think this next few weeks is going to be hilarious, and like, Andrade alluded to this this story that would absolutely cause anyone that's human paranoia, right? This the thing about someone taking a picture and like, fuck that, whatever happened there, that's bullshit, that's true. Imagine rolling into work after you've read all week that multiple co-workers of yours have told reporters that you suck. Imagine, because this is not, 1999 with the dirt sheets running wild, but it lives in kind of its bubble within, like, this is, every time you log on Twitter, your mentions of stan accounts asking you why you're an asshole to their favorite wrestler. I mean, this is a weird vibe, Jeremy. And frankly, we have not had anything like this. I mean, WWE hasn't had a thing like this for some time. I don't know if you can help me on what the last this is.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, this is wild. This is, the social media age where everyone's going crazy, and I don't know. It's fascinating. Like, this, every time I log on, there's a new fucking news story about this, that, and today's on the Sonya Deville, which God bless all time. Yeah. But I don't know. How do you think this thing is? Just going to go quiet, or are we going to get more kind of unraveling here as we go?
So I was trying to think of like the last kind of story like this, and it's not a good example at all, but the one that kind of like popped into my head was the Seth Rollins rah-rah speech thing. again, completely different, but that was just the first thing that came into my head. Otherwise, like I can't really think of one in the social media era that is kind of like this, where you're getting a new report every day. People are unhappy, and this happened and that happened. And it doesn't seem like many people have her back on this stuff. Like there's not many reports, like, at least Seth stood up for himself and kind of spoke out about it and whatnot. And other people said like, hey, no, this actually happened. Not a lot of that going on with Charlotte Flair. How does this play out? Tune in on SmackDown on Friday to find out. I truly think that, like, I think it kind of blows over. I don't know why. I really think like it blows over.
I mean, that'd be ideal for me personally. I think what's intriguing is someone in the chat. Let me find it so I don't. What we got here? Cyclops is better than Wolverine, which always pops me. He pointed out, that if anyone should be content with their booking, it's her, and I agree with that. Even though we can definitely pick holes in the many issues that she's had creatively, because there has been ones. But like if she's disappointed with it, and then God forbid what someone else thinks. And I wonder if a big part of everyone, giving their take on this, is that as she's been more and more outspoken with her issues with creative, the rest of the roster has, inevitably been kind of turned off by that, right? Like the idea that that's what's kind of fueled all of this news being pushed out all at once is because, frankly, everyone in the locker room feels like it's their chance to give their two cents on the deal. And I get that. It's really hard because I think we can all sympathize with Charlotte's situation in like the grand scheme of things, right? Like she ended in a hard spot. She's trying to follow Ric Flair. All of this deal, and the constant kind of everything you do is not quite good enough. You don't get quite the credit you feel like you deserve. I understand all of that. It'll probably drive me crazy too. Absolutely. However, where there is smoke, Jeremy Lambert, there is fire. And I would suggest that when, every wrestling reporter is informing us that a news source has told us that there's something that she's done, she's isolated herself and stuff. I would suggest that's telling in some way. Again, I think Andrade's initial interview after leaving give us like little hints at this whole deal.
Yeah.
And here's the deal, Joe.
I mean, his tweet gave us even more hints.
Well, yes. Remember that segment that you and I popped for huge where the Fiend Dares Alexa Bliss just went like wrestling Twitter on her and talked about how I'm intrigued even more now than I was then about how much that was Charlotte's input. Because at the time, my read on it was, well, Charlotte's aware of that criticism. She'd give Alexa that criticism. She'd use it. Now, as things have unfolded here, I'm less sure about that, Jeremy. And I just wonder, if she's aware of the criticism and agrees it sucks that her character is person that wins belts, or she doesn't think she needs a character because, as she said famously in that thread, I'm too good not to be champ, deal with it, which, I mean, God bless. That's one way of looking at professional wrestling. But, we don't know. She's never going to come on the late night green order distraction, as far as I know. But that's the big question in terms of where she goes next is what does she think? That's the key.
I think there's a little bit of both because even in interviews she has done, she's mentioned the same thing of like being champion all the time and how if she's not champion, they don't know what to do with her and everything. And so like, I think she is very aware that this is an issue with her character and her booking and everything. And that's why, maybe she did tell Alexa to say those things because she knows it's an issue. But like you said, then she goes on Twitter and is like, how much is she leaning into it in one area? How much is she appeasing people in another area? Like it is very, very tough to tell with some of that stuff. I listen to a lot of Charlotte Flair interviews. I listened to Steve Smith interview her for like 30 minutes. That's an NFL player, Joseph.
It's actually the Australian cricket captain, but
it seems like it's a fairly common name, right?
Steve Smith. I'd say so. Yeah.
So like I've listened to my fair share of like Charlotte Flair interviews, and like some interviews she comes off as a very like very self-aware and understand what's going on person. And then other interviews, she's I think in interviews she does come off as self-aware and like she gets what's happening in this stuff. I think on Twitter she'll lean into it a little bit more.
In the name of hate.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I mean, again, and I go back to the start of 2021 when, you know, she kind of basically, she said as much, like there was a plan for her creatively and that's why she wanted to come back and execute that. And next thing she knew, she was doing a shitty angle with Lacey Evans. So it's hard, but the one thing I will say is, and I completely get Dave pondering this about it being kind of a play on the World Wrestling Federation's part to get these stories out there. I don't think Charlotte's the candidate for that. I'll be honest with you. I don't think these stories are coming from the WWE as much as they're coming from the people that are in the locker room. I'm sure some are coming from WWE. Oh no. Speaking of sources.
Guys, do you want this? Is this what you're after? Reach out for it. Reach out. Oops.
Oh no. Oh no. Wow. Incredible. Wouldn't we have ruled if Sean just came on and told us his sources as I was speculating there? I would have ruled. No, Jeremy, I don't know if you agree with me on that. It doesn't feel like a story where the WWE are pushing a narrative. It feels like the locker room is kind of popping themselves and getting their stories out. That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah. It's let it play out, Joseph. Let it play out.
I mean, I will. I have no choice to, really. All I know is that, and this is a promise to everyone watching this program, is like, if she actually becomes all elite at some point, the content you'll get from me will be unlike anything. Because I will just, even if I don't actually care and I continue to watch AEW privately, I will 100% do a month where I just refuse to talk about it as like some sort of show of defiance.
Our show's going to be horrible if we don't talk about AEW for a month. We were struggling when it was on Saturday for 2
We'll
weeks.
just, like, you'll talk about AEW and send it to me and I'll just preview Major League Wrestling. Sean Ross Sapp has confirmed my take on that, guys. He says WWE are not pushing a narrative. It's not them at all. That's the sense that, it felt like some peers were happy to get their story out there. To be honest with you, that was my read on it, but I'm obviously not a scoopster, so there you go. Hey, Jeremy, have you seen Halloween Kills?
No.
Oh, sorry. That was what I intended to talk about next. I have nothing else to talk about. So.
Well, you got to tell me these things if you want to do it.
No, I like to just see where we're at.
I don't
watch any movies this week?
I started the 3rd season of You. You watch that show?
No.
Joseph? Okay. I mean, it's fairly similar. A lot of murders going on in these shows. So.
Why do you not watch the horror films? Are you a coward?
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you heard about my new screenplay?
I did see your tweet about your new screenplay.
Would you like to help me workshop this a little bit?
Yeah, we're going to do this on air?
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Current working titles are Sorry to Hear That and Nightmare on Grin Street.
Do you want to tell people like what the?
Well, yeah, we're going to get
into it.
All
right.
Your pal Kiwi says Halloween Kills was a very interesting film, which I'm going to assume is his polite way of saying it fucking sucked. And if so, I agree. Okay, now my pitch is, and I thought about this while I was watching Halloween Kills because I was struggling and I needed a way to kind of just keep my mind, And I was like, I'm going to write a horror movie in which Bob O'Neill is the killer. But rather than like a physical weapon, it's more of like a psychological thriller, and his weapon is the quote tweet. So like you have like a group of protagonists, and like every time they hit send tweet, they sit there and they're like, oh, it's been 5 minutes and Bob still hasn't quote tweeted it. Like, the app tells them when he's like drafting a tweet, so they get really nervous. That's like him kind of looming over them. And if he gets you with a quote tweet, you're dead, obviously, right? And like my pitch is that I'll be the one that survives naturally. Because I'll delete my initial tweet in time, so therefore he won't be quote tweeting anything. I'll make a 4 of him every time. That's my plan. How we can extend this to a 90-minute motion picture is yet to be conquered. That's the part we're still struggling with.
So yeah, I don't know. He doesn't leave his house.
Like, no one does. No, this is a modern movie.
Okay.
It's a modern movie. It's just a lot of people just sitting there on their own, sending a tweet. and sitting there like just panicking that Bob's going to quote tweet it. And like when he logs off is like when you know you're safe and you can do some dialogue and people can kind of get on the phone and talk. See what I'm saying? See that as a hook?
But see, he doesn't log off, and so people think he logs off, and so they think they're safe. Yeah. But then, of course, the app, like, they'll show you tweets from 14 hours ago. So, like, he logs back on, and then little they know, he didn't quote tweet like something they just sent a minute ago. He quote tweeted something they sent 14 hours ago, and that's the one.
That you could have one where, like, a guy thinks Bob has logged off because he posts that sleepy gif that he posts when he's going to go to bed, and he sends a tweet and he's all like relaxed and he gets in his bed, this guy, and then he just wakes up to a Bob quote tweet and immediately dies. Just dies as soon as he sees the quote tweet. All work and no cowboy hat makes Bobo a dull boy is a great comment from great comment. I mean, like, I think there's a lot to be done with Bob as a horror movie because he kind of. This is where I get tempted to make it more physical because Bob has got like an incredible kind of with the knees. He could be great as an actual physical villain, you know, a physical monster.
No, I feel like he'd be weak. Like you just kick him in the knees and like he's just done.
Yeah,
he walks a couple of steps. Like, come on now, O'Neal ain't chasing anybody.
But that's like a great trope, you know.
Yeah,
like Bob. Two of Bob's best tweets are the one where he asks why the bigger wrestlers don't eat the smaller wrestlers, and the other one is when he questions why someone doesn't bring a rifle to the ring. So both of those things could be things that you could employ as a horror movie character, you know.
Okay.
But there wouldn't be much drama to it, but if he just got out and shot people, that would be pretty interesting as a visual bit, you know. I know I'm just kicking it around a little bit. It's day one, obviously. I'm still trying to figure out the concept here.
So how are you the hero? Like he never quote tweets you? You tweet a fair amount, Joseph. But...
Well, no. What happens is to kill Bob, you have to quote tweet him.
Then why wouldn't people just quote tweet him immediately?
Because he's so good at Twitter that like his tweets don't give an opportunity to quote tweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a master of Twitter.
No, they do give plenty of opportunities.
But you have to have like a hit. It can't just be. You know, it's like
just be like a random. Okay.
Yeah, you can fire an aimless bullet, and it's like, well, that was a quote to, but it doesn't. If it doesn't hit Bob in the chest, it doesn't matter. But if you get him and you like ratio him and all that good stuff, the kids say he dies. Well, he doesn't die. One of his knees like just explodes and his leg falls off. So you have to get him with a few quote tweets. Now upon fault, yeah, because you'd have to take It's interesting. I'm trying to figure it out now as I go.
Well, I got to ask these questions so we have some quality control here, and so people aren't wondering, like, why doesn't he just do this to kill the man?
I'm imagining like a dumb couple kind of sitting around and being like, "Should we send a tweet about the World Wrestling Federation?" And like, Bob O'Neal's online, and she's like, "What do you mean Bob O'Neal's online? What does that mean?" And she's like, "I'm going to send it anyway." Hit send to it and immediately dies. Bob gets her like that, you know. There's a lot to be done with this, and he obviously has his favorites. You could get like if you don't talk about Brock Lesnar, you can probably get away with it. Yeah. Brock is like poking the bear. That's like going up and punching him in the face, basically, because he's going to get you. If you talk about Brock, it's inevitable. That's where I'm at. Any thoughts, Jeremy?
Well, I mean, if you say good things, then he won't get you, right?
Factual.
Okay, yep. So you just got to be smart with your tweets. I'm not mad at this. I think we can workshop it a little bit more and actually do something.
Yeah.
How do we put it together? I don't know, but figure something
What
out.
if he's never, like, his face is never on camera because he always has the cowboy hat?
No, that dude, his facial expressions are so good. We can't hide that from people.
But what if, like, the end of the movie is the protagonist, which is me? I actually go to Bob's place to confront him head to head, and I pull the cowboy hat off, and his face is just another cowboy hat.
So that's what I was wondering if you're going, like, do you go and confront him?
I think so.
And that's how you actually get him. Like, obviously, like you said, you're going to quote tweet him, and that's how you kill him and everything. But, like, I feel like you've got to go actually confront him. But O'Neal's not a person who's like, oh, come to my house, you won't say this behind a keyboard type of thing. Yeah.
What if the quote tweet actually allows Bob to teleport, and that's where the real power is at, you know? Like if
No, we're not doing teleportation.
you don't want no supernatural elements with Bob.
No. You're going well with like just the quote tweeting being the weapon.
You want it more grounded then. You don't want it to be too gory.
No. I just don't think we need to add in like teleportation.
But if we want to make it a franchise, it feels like we're going to have to add some sort of,
Well, sure. I mean, maybe down the line, but like Fast and Furious didn't start with them flying in space and shit. It started as a very level-headed, let's just steal some electronics on the side of the road type of thing. And then it became, hey, let's save the world and go underwater and go into space. Like, you can't start with teleportation with this stuff.
The chat is currently trying to figure out who would die first. John Alber has come up, Jack Crosby, Caleb Braxton, which would be an interesting one. That feels like it'd be too public for Bob.
Yeah, I was gonna say who Dissident Demon said. That's got to be there, right? That's a big time feud.
Well, that's for film 5 when he becomes a babyface.
Fair.
I don't know. Look, we'll figure out as we go. Maybe we should talk about Dynamite now. Do you want to talk about Dynamite? Should we have our Bound for Glory conversation that we had on air and just upset everyone?
We can do that. So Bound for Glory. I said, Joseph, it's Monday. Usually,
you know what that means.
Usually we review, the big pay-per-view of the weekend. Joseph said, GCW Bloodsport. I said, no, that was good, but no. I said, GCW War Ready. I said, no. And he's like, well, that had Suzuki and Gage. I was like, yeah. He's like, Dynamite. I said, Joseph, Dynamite wasn't a pay-per-view. He said, SmackDown. When do we ever talk about SmackDown? He said, ROH Television. They had a pay-per-view. I said, no, they didn't have a pay-per-view, Joseph. He said, well, what was the big pay-per-view of the week? Fedor? No, we did watch Fedor together.
We did watch that,
yeah. And you're like, what was the big pay-per-view of the weekend? I said, Joseph, it's Impact Bound for Glory. This is their biggest show all year.
TNA. That's what you said.
Yeah. And you said, I didn't watch it. I said, oh.
That's not true. Because I hit play on Impact Bound for Glory. And I saw a wonderful pay-per-view intro. I said, this is going to be very good. And then I saw Sam's Town. I said, I'm not sure this is going to be very good. And then I heard that theme song that the Inspiration come out to now. And then I saw them dancing. And then I heard the lip syncing. And then I just turned the show off and never went back to it. Not my proudest moment. It feels like probably I should have watched it in hindsight. But you make choices in life. Sometimes, Jeremy Lambert, you wish for something in life. You sit there and you want it and you think it will make things better, and then it happens and you go, oh, I've wasted time here wanting something that was going to ruin things. And I can tell you, Jeremy, that while I watched the TNA professional wrestling program, Impact Wrestling, and I would often say, it'll be fun when they get back on the road. I forgot that would actually make the production worse, and that they would forget to bring lights with them, and that their big booking of the weekend would be the Kiss Demon.
That rolled though. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, it ruled in like an ironic way, but just
probably not great that was their big surprise after
it's just
talked themselves into Braun and Bray.
It's just hard, It's like you want them to, for the sake of narrative, which is all I really care about, because we have to talk about this shit all week. Like, you would like them to be kind of interesting and kind of be back in the game and stuff, and they're not gonna. They're just gonna be Impact Wrestling forever.
They're hard to kill, though.
Yeah, and then like everyone online is, well, a blood feud between Josh Alexander and Moose, and it's like, good luck, I mean, sure, but it's just, it's a bummer. I'm not like, I'm generally not someone that actually gets really upset about aesthetics, whatever. It's professional wrestling, but when they shot that place and it just just darkness. I was like, wow, this is sad. And all I could think was the Fiend Bray Wyatt, bless his cotton. He must be shitting himself. He must be sitting there at night thinking, how the hell am I going to shoot these horror motion pictures in that building?
Do you think we have a better shot at signing the Fiend Bray Wyatt to help us produce Logged Off than Impact Wrestling?
Only if I pitch that Bob film to him and he gets to be, if he gets to play me. Because he can't, because my brand's less tarnished than his.
Fair.
Got the sense that was the case. Yeah. Got the sense that was the case, really. I've seen this before, and I'm not a big Bray Wyatt fan, so I'm not the person to ask. But if I was advising the Fiend Bray Wyatt, I would tell him that he should probably just do weird shit and show up everywhere he can. You know, just be that brand and take it across all of the promotions rather than sticking in one place. The worst thing he could do is just become a guy on one of these other rosters. It would do very poorly for his brand. He needs to give his audience stuff to enjoy across the kind of wrestling landscape, and that can be anything. That can be doing some weirdness in bowler. That'd be hilarious. The lights go out at PWG and he kicks the shit out of someone. That'd pop me. It's a Nick Gage match for sure. Got to do that. It's a lock.
Oh yeah, that's the match I was booking for the late night Red Fed.
Yeah, and you go to Japan and you do like a
him showing up at Wrestle Kingdom after Okada wins like the 300 belts that they have right now.
You do like a Pure Rules match with Jonathan Gresham where you just wear trunks or a singlet. You go by Wyndham the Shooter. You just play around with it, you have fun with it. You just don't. Whatever you do, you do not just stick and become a guy and wrestle like fucking Madman Fulton on TV. That's not fair. I like Madman Fulton, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you go there and you got to be careful with that stuff, man. That's what concerns me about our friend Buddy Matthews, friend of the show, Bud Matt, as he's affectionately known. Like New Japan Strong is a really good deal because you can kind of just do what you want around that show, you know? He's trying to get himself booked against Kazuchika Okada. I don't know if you've heard, Jeremy, but apparently he's very good at professional wrestling. That's the rumor currently. Both, but the Okada apparently he's had some good matches with the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega.
Yeah, but that was like years ago. What has he done lately?
Agreed. History is claiming that the Fiend Bray Wyatt is biding his time until the Lexi reunion, which is frankly like a hate crime. Putting that in the chat. Actively got me angry just reading it, even though I knew he was trying to rib me. Yeah. I think, and I don't know if the scoopster that may or may not be Sean Rossap is still in the chat, but the Tony Nese, it appeared that Tony Nese was headed to the All Elite Fleet from like a while back. That seemed to be the word on the wrestling streets, so to speak. And, he's going to come in and be younger Bobby Fish, who is Mr. Dynamite now. I don't know if you've heard that, Jeremy. We haven't talked about Dynamite. Bobby Fish will be on every Dynamite. Turner they've put that in the contract. He's actually going to be on every show.
We were on air when they announced Bobby Fish's match on Saturday. This Saturday evening. Right? I'm not making this up.
No, you're right.
Okay. I forgot who we wrestled on Saturday already, which seems bad. But they just announced that Bobby Fish had this match, and you're just like, Tony Khan is just, it's like an owner goal in TEW. Bobby Fish has to wrestle on every television. You gotta get Bobby Fish to a certain level of television popularity. And Tony Khan's just like, challenge accepted. Here we go.
Well, here's the thing.
On every show.
A lot of Tony Khan's booking, the reason it's good is because he basically does what, like, if Twitter booked as one, he basically does that, right? He's very, he books as a wrestling fan. And I think that's very good, and it's been very good for AEW, and that's why it's so successful. However, this feels like one of the first occasions, not the first, but one of, where it feels like he's just popping himself. Like he's decided he's going to do this Bobby Fish thing, and he liked Bobby Fish, and I do too. So I'd do many things like this. Many of those Bray Wyatt ideas would be things that I would do on my television as a rib. He's doing Bobby Fish matches. I actually think, and this is, just guessing, but it feels like guys like Bryan and Punk actively want to work with Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
And that's why, it was actually a smart idea to get him a squash match win so that he doesn't always lose on TV and win on the YouTube shows, which is what he'll eventually become. He's good, man. I mean, I think you and I both assume that he's going to get his Canadian friend eventually, and they're gonna be one of the top teams. I think that'll happen. I don't know when, but it feels like it's going to happen at some point. But either way, he's a good player coach guy that's fresh and has a clean slate rather than being Kazarian, who's been there for 2 years. It adds something. And Nice will do the same. Nice has the more modern matches. He's very exciting, isn't Tony Nice? It's good stuff. They know what they're doing over there at AEW Dream. I think they're going to be okay.
Annika said Fish is good. Just give him a good storyline. I think at this point, like, he's not someone who is a storyline guy, right? Like, he's just doing matches. Yeah. And I mean, when he came in, this is sort of what we talked about. Is he's like, he'll lose to the top guys. He may or may not lose to guys who are kind of like on their way up, like a Moriarty, like Garcia. He obviously lost, or he beat Moriarty in the in that one match because he needed to, because he was about to face Danielson. But he'll build up his record on the B shows and the C shows. So when he does lose to somebody like Moriarty or Garcia down the line, it'll look like it means something because they beat a guy who's 28-4. I don't think he's just going to be like a storyline type of guy.
No, you're right.
He's just a wrestler. He's a wrestler wrestling matches on a wrestling television show.
Yep. He's going to come out. He's going to do that thing where he shadow boxes and he does like that face. That's really good. I was going to do it, but you do it better. That's good. And then his music will play and Jim Ross will say Harley Race. And Shivani will say he's got a new lease on life. And then, he has a match. And it's normally – he's not a guy that has like all these bangers, but he has good matches and he's very sound. And I like it. I like the sign. I like that he's it's one that I didn't expect, but I think they've done a good job with it. AEW Dynamite aired on Saturday night, Jeremy.
Yes.
It at 8 p.m. Eastern time on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good professional wrestling show. I don't know if you have any comment on AEW Dynamite, but if you do, please share it.
As I said, Cody Rhodes would be victorious,
yes,
leading to his eventual AEW World Title run throughout 2022. That's it.
All of that was a lie. He did say he was going to win, and he did win. He had the Cody Rhodes special where he kind of...
He's a coward for not using the pedigree, right?
Agreed, yeah.
Coward move. When he double underarm hooked him, I was like, oh, man, tremendous. Yep. And then it just turned into
How would you have felt about the finish if, he'd have hooked the arms and everyone had stopped talking, a spotlight would have come down on his face and he said, adrenaline in my soul, every thought out of control, do it all to get them off their feet. And, everyone assumed that was it. And he was like, crowd is here, about to blow. You said it exactly like this too. Waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home, and then boom, the place comes back to life. How do you feel about that? That was my pitch for a finish.
I just think he should have done the pedigree.
Fair.
At some point, he'll sing his song, but
Agreed.
He should have just done the pedigree.
It was interesting. I mean, I think the match was hilarious in that it popped me tremendously, and I liked it. But it was peak Cody, right, where he just they bled out of nowhere. They started bleeding. They did a table bump. There was 8 interferences on the spine buster. Just fucking, bless him, man. He knows what he likes. He does this match. He could be wrestling anyone and it would be laid out this way. He took the black mass steel and
fell over.
Just fell over and then stood back up because fuck it, who cares? Who cares about Malachi Black? A lot of people do. He doesn't apparently. No, he knows. Oh, look, I'll be real with you. People are overdoing the buried stuff. They always do, but if you can't see the humor in him winning that match, then you're taking it too seriously. It objectively is funny that he just beat him. And Malachi's Instagram post, bless him, I get it. But,
he's trying.
Everyone did these big things. He's gonna win with he's gonna cut Malachi's head off and prove that he's evil after, and he just pinned him, popped me tremendously. It's not a big deal. Malachi Black's super over, but the Cody thing's just funny. No one really has. No one has a read on what he's doing. Every time we talk about it on Patreon or the distraction, the chat is completely divided as to whether he's in on the bit or not. Pops me tremendously. I just respect it at this point. I have no issue. Now, I will tell you, though, Jeremy Lambert, I have an action figure update. You ready? Dustin Rhodes, blue Dustin Rhodes is on its way. Jeremy, must purchase, right? Blue Dustin Rhodes.
It's a good purchase.
Do you know they call him
you
the
didn't get the
natural?
Blood Brothers double pack?
No.
No, coward.
That's disgraceful.
Well, you get there are about 18 Cody figures, I believe, with another 3 coming. Will you ever get a Cody figure?
No.
Wow.
I'm just not a big fan. So apparently, Cody had to not sell because Andrade was late. That makes sense. Dustin Rhodes, Bryan Danielson ruled so much.
Yeah, dude. Bryan Danielson. People really don't think this guy's the GOAT. Like
He's going to get the shit kicked out of him on Friday, though. Did you see that promo he did?
Yeah, it's the
He's
thumbnail
fucked.
for this.
He's Jeremy. Thumbnail? Is this a video? Who's watching?
It is. There's people allegedly watching.
He's going to get the shit kicked out of him, I'm telling you, man. He's got no shit. Talking trash like that to the Mad King Eddie Kingston, he's doomed, Jeremy. Do you see how much taller Eddie Kingston is than the American Dragon Bryan Danielson? You've seen the thumbnail. Folks, look at the thumbnail to this video. Eddie Kingston is at least 25 inches taller than Bryan Danielson. It's an estimate. Kingston should win with a lariat in 2 minutes.
I don't think that's going to happen. How excited were you when Eddie Kingston won that match?
I mean, I couldn't really be very excited because I was worried that Lance Archer was in very, very bad way.
Yeah, that was
kind of took my. I mean, I'm pretty sure King was winning. The way they did the match, see, again, go back to the Queen Charlotte Flair conversation. See, Eddie Kingston was almost certainly beating Lance Archer. So what he did was he gave Lance the whole match and had just Lance kick the ever-loving shit out of him, including jumping him from behind and then getting beaten up anyway, which is peak Eddie Kingston. Crowd loves Eddie Kingston. Match was really getting good, and then that happened. That was a real shame. Big love to Lance Archer, who's awesome. But
yeah, thank God he's okay, because that did not look good at all.
But with that being said, yes, I'm very excited. And after seeing how much taller Eddie Kingston is than Bryan Danielson, I think that Kingston will win clean. And the next week, Bryan Danielson will come out and say, so this is where the big boys play, huh? I'm going to introduce the AEW Cruiserweight title because I clearly can't fight with the real men in this promotion. And he will be challenged by Marco Stunt. And they'll go to a 20-minute time limit draw. That's all I've got. So that's far. I think he'll probably leave the promotion after that. But that's what I think's going to happen.
They're going to go to a draw. And because he couldn't beat Marco Stunt, he's just like, I guess I can't play here. And then he's going to go to ROH or Impact.
I think that's probably where he belongs at this point. He's a small guy. NXT 2.0 has taught me that there's no place for little guys in professional wrestling. So
no, you got to have characters. That guy doesn't really have a character. He just kind of goes out there and wrestles.
You know, upon fault, I actually wouldn't do the lariat in 2 minutes. I'd probably just have Kingston punch him once in the face as they locked up and pin him.
Oh, so Danielson thinks it's going to be good wrestling. So he goes to lock up and Kingston just straight right.
Yeah. And you can tell the story about like how he was caught off guard, you know? And then what I would do is I would have Bryan as the babyface never get his win back and just chase him around and lose all the time. That would really get him over in my view. But, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. The key is that Eddie Kingston wins in under 3 minutes. That feels like a lock at this point. Tony Khan has cameras. He sees how much taller Eddie Kingston is than Bryan Danielson. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but I feel like the finish is a natural. Right, Jeremy?
I think that sounds about right. I'm not positive Tony Khan is going to do that, but I think that sounds okay.
Okay, good. No, look, the match is going to be awesome. I wish it wasn't taped because the Rampage shows never have the same like zip that Dynamite does. Like the crowd, it just feels different. But I mean, I can't complain about any of this. This is going to be fucking awesome. And the promo segment was great. They're doing a nice job where Bryan is doing this deal where Bryan is working baby faces. And like you're not sure if Moxley's the guy that's going to be a heel or Bryan is, or either of them. So I'm really intrigued how that plays out because Moxley's promo was fascinating on Dynamite. Moxley's promo could convince you that he's going to just be a babyface and he's just sort of adjusting and changing. Or it could convince you he's going to snap and turn heel and lose his mind completely. So
I think it's the latter.
You do? So how would you? So would he lose to Bryan and then turn heel? How would you do that?
I think he's going to beat Bryan. That's the thing. I think he's going to beat Bryan, but in the Hangman feud, which I don't think it's going to be like a prolonged thing, but they're going to give that a couple of weeks before doing a TV special on that.
Mhm.
I think that's when he like really snaps leading up to that match against Hangman. I think Brian will like bring something extra out of him because they're going to kick the shit out of each other. And then like in the Hangman feud, he'll really just kind of snap on things. Because I think they're going to do Moxley Hangman. Probably winter is coming, the year anniversary of Moxley losing the title to Omega. And I think if he doesn't like go crazy before that, he goes crazy coming out of that match.
Are you going to purchase his new book?
I can't read, but if I could, I would certainly think of getting that. It seems like it's going to be a good book.
Is he doing the audiobook deal, or is it going to be some coward reading it and getting all the names
see,
wrong?
if he's doing his own audiobook, I will buy that and I will listen to that.
Because there's nothing worse than when it's a coward who gets all the names wrong. That's very bad.
Yeah,
the Moxley thing is really intriguing. I hope he doesn't do like I don't know. I'm for him being a heel. I just don't want him to like completely ruin the kind of essence of the character. I want it to make sense, and I think it will. Because I think they're good at that stuff. They don't turn people heel every other week like some promotions do. But it's something to watch for sure. The promo was incredible. God, he's so good. Jonathan Moxley is really good at professional wrestling. But the Bryan Danielson Eddie Kingston match was going to be good. I think that's what you asked me. So yeah, that's my take. Yeah,
excited for it.
Eddie Kingston will not hit one offensive maneuver in that match.
He's just going to sell from Bryan the whole time.
He was going to throw a few chops, but he will not do like a maneuver. He will just throw a couple chops, and the people will chant Eddie a few times, and then Bryan will elbow him in the head continuously, and Bryce Remswell will stop the match. And John. So these are the things interesting is Moxley and Kingston. Like if they don't cross paths at all, they don't do one segment together. It kind of feels more and more like Moxley's turning heel full out because, like, you're not turning Kingston with him, right? So you probably need to just like disassociate them quietly because, it feels like it'd be done to turn them both. So there you go.
I don't think I don't think Kingston's like completely turning, but then
no, that's what I'm saying. You got to kind of, get them away from each other because otherwise it would make it weird, right? Unless you do what Reese is saying and he turns on Kingston, which is a different thing.
Which like I'm not fully mad at, but we've done that feud, and so I just don't know. It's obviously a different dynamic now, but like I don't know if I need to revisit that one.
No, I would rather not do that. It feels like WWE shit to me. There's not really any reason for Moxley to snap on Kingston.
Yeah,
Moxley didn't snap at Kingston when Kingston was like trying to kill him to win the World Heavyweight title. He still wanted to be his friend, so. That feels like I'm not sure about that. I think it's actually pretty lightly Reese. I just don't ever like it. But I'll let it play out because I'm a very patient wrestling fan. And it's the only promotion I watch at this point because I'm a coward. Is JJ still here or did we run him off with the Bound for Glory burial?
You watch Ring of Honor.
I do watch Ring of Honor. You can watch us talk about Ring of Honor tomorrow at 6:05. That's why I'm advertising that show now, Jeremy, because Bob has to get done with work. 6:05 p.m. Eastern time. So I agree, Josh. I think Kingston could just be a babyface that, if asked, likes John Moxley, but they don't team up all the time. That's probably what I would do personally. But we'll see. What else was on AEW Dynamite?
I'm gonna trust they know where they're going.
You gonna let it play out?
Yeah, I'll let it play out. Kenny Omega got a promo. There was
Sorry to hear that.
The AT&T guys were there with Sammy Guevara.
AT&T, that was interesting.
That's the name of their group, right? American Top End Team.
Yes, that's factual.
Okay.
Jack, as far as I know, the different regions of the United States are going to get the Dynamite at different times. Can you explain that, Jeremy, to those of us uneducated?
I didn't know this was a thing until a few hours ago. Not even a few hours ago, that it's going to be on different times. I don't know. It's still on at the same time for me. I don't care about anybody else.
Wow. Jeremy Lambert privilege there, folks.
Yep.
Miro's promo was incredible.
Was good. Yeah.
But I like both women's matches on TV this week. Anna Jay and Penelope Ford and Ruby Soho. You know when Ruby Soho comes out, Bob tweets like Destination Unknown.
I love that bit. It's so dumb.
So that would be like a slasher murder in the film, you know?
Yeah.
Like when he has the bits, like someone said the no, Jack, I think it's not unchanged. I think it's unchanged for us Brits. I think it means it's more the fact that it's later for other parts of the United States. I don't know, Joel. Just announced by TK Meltzer. Live at the same time. It seems like they've literally just changed everything we just said.
Oh,
So happy to hear that. I don't know. None of this matters to me. Please stop confusing me, everyone. Dan Lambert cut a promo.
Yeah.
So I got. Yeah, I'm sure it was good. I didn't listen. Okay, so it's going to be live. So it'll be particularly early in some parts of the United States of America, Jeremy.
Good, I guess. I mean, is that going to boost viewership? Like, I assume it would, right?
I don't know. Did you see the Ruby match stats about total time for the last 6 months in WWE
I'm sure
versus total
that all her
times?
matches were under 3 minutes, and then
Yeah.
I
like the Penelope Ford match, man. Penelope Ford's one that, like, sometimes you watch Penelope wrestle and think, man, she could be the women's champ, and then other times it appears that she's like that's just not her level right now. This was as good as I've seen her look start to finish in like a long time, man. I wish she really combined with Ruby pretty nicely. There was some really creative stuff they did. They did a really lively ad break kind of a portion there that you folks probably missed. It was good. I liked it. I do not believe it is usually live on the West Coast, Jacob. No.
there you go.
Joel Pearl says Penelope Ford fucking rules. Don't know why I need to swear, but okay.
Oh.
She's grown a lot as a performer. She's in. I don't know. Like, there's times where she really feels like she's figured it out, and then other times her stuff's just kind of spotty. It frustrates me a little bit, but I liked this particular match a lot. Ruby's had matches in AEW longer than the whole Queen's tourney. Probably, I don't know.
I mean,
Those matches
how long
didn't
was
appear
the
very
how long
long.
was the Baker match?
12, 13.
The whole Queen's Crown tournament was like 19 minutes. I really don't think Ruby's actually had like a 19-minute match. Unless you want to count the Casino Battle Royal, but like she wasn't in there the whole time.
The Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah, sorry that I mispronounced the AEW pronunciation.
Hey, Jeremy, next Wednesday I'm going to the World Wrestling Federation's live event in Brighton. I've realised only yesterday that I don't want to see any of the people that are there. Or I have already seen them, which I probably should have thought about before I bought tickets for this program. But should we have a look who's been announced since I last checked yesterday?
Sure.
No one knows has been announced. Seth Rollins is going to be there, so I'm sorry to hear that.
You don't like Seth Rollins?
I'm going to just leave when he comes out in protest.
Oh, man. You know he's probably going to face, though, right?
Roderick Strong.
No. Is Big E booked?
Buddy Matthews.
No. Is Big E booked for the show?
I think he's working Bobby Lashley because he's also booked.
I think Seth is working Big E. That's what they've been running. Just letting you know. That's what they've been running. Well, folks, Joseph is not happy that Seth and Big E will be he'll have to watch that live. I mean, Big E's gonna win, so like that's good. Big E's gonna win, Joseph.
Yeah.
Seth will do some cool moves.
So who's Bob Lashley going to wrestle?
Let me see.
Roderick Strong?
Maybe.
Does Bobby Lashley qualify for the Cruiserweight title?
I mean, if Odyssey Jones can get a match, then sure. Let me see who Bob Lashley's been working at the live events. Hold on.
Okay. I think the Wardlow MJF stuff is awesome. Someone mentioned that in the chat. That stuff is tremendous. I think Wardlow's delivery on Wednesday, even though it was one line, got it ruled. It came across so authentic. It was tremendous.
So Lashley did work Big E at the October 3rd live event, but again, that was beginning of the month, and Big E's been working Seth. Big E's been working a lot of different people. He worked AJ at one event. No, he worked AJ. He worked Rollins. And he worked Lashley. I'm fairly certain he's going to work Rollins.
What if they did title for title versus Roderick Strong? Unification.
Are you putting Roddy over?
Yes.
Okay.
He can drop it the next night, obviously, but
is he going to drop it back to Big E?
Yeah, just in Brighton, he needs to win it.
Oh.
And I storm the ring. I could be the finish, actually.
Would anybody pop for a Roderick Strong title win in the arena but you?
No, I'm going to be the finish, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm going to hit Big E with a steel folding chair, and then Roddy's going to hit the end of Heartache, where he just, he flings the guy in the air. And then I'll count the pin. And it could be, in the history books, it could have like an asterisk next to it. But it feels like something we should do. It feels like something that would get over live. I wonder if any marks are going to come up and bother me while I'm at the wrestling show, hanging out with my wrestling famous friends. What do you think, Jeremy? Do you think any fans of the Distraction podcast?
I would hope
on
so.
Fightful.com are going to come up to me and make me like a fool.
And like, hey, you're going to be at this show. We should hang out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Happens all the time. Every time I go to the local toy store and walk down the wrestling figure aisle, the figures actually leave their packagings to go take a selfie with me. It's very common. As I've told you before, Roderick Strong has got his own place in the store now because of me. He is not assigned with the WWE figures. He is with the AEW ones instead. I have requested that the Fiend Bray Wyatt is always as far away from the Fiendess Alexa Bliss as humanly possible. Just little things like that come with my status in the industry, and me, I like to use that political pull. Why isn't Big E versus Minoru Suzuki for the UK tour? Because they're fucking cowards. That's why. Paul Lee cosplay for Joseph. That is just doesn't get any worse than that, does it? The idea of me charging around like Paul Lee dangerously at the WWF. I'm sure it'll be fun. I actually love house shows. I like seeing great professional wrestlers do the professional wrestles. Liv Morgan being one of the announced 8 wrestlers is interesting. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It's just interesting. So we'll see. Hope Rhea Ripley and Nikki.
Who else?
ASH.
So Seth Rollins.
Seth frickin' Rollins.
Big E.
Bob Lashley.
Liv Morgan.
Randy Orton.
Oh, wow.
Damian Priest.
Okay, so it's a Raw house show.
Rebecca Lynch. And Bianca Belair. It's actually a pretty good lineup.
So you'll get Becky and Bianca.
Yes.
I have no idea who lives.
Feels like Nikki and Rhea are going to work it, right? Actually, they might just use them on SmackDown now for the house shows because SmackDown's women's division. Like, who are they going to book internationally on that side of? That's not a particularly stacked division, is it? I guess they got Shayna and Naomi they could run. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I would like, Rhea Ripley, I think, is one of the only wrestlers I'm a fan of that I haven't seen live, so that'd be cool. And Nikki. I saw Nikki's second Sanity. Remember Sanity?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, she seconded them at the same arena I'm going to on Wednesday, so next Wednesday. So
okay.
I've never seen her wrestle, though. Never seen her do the professional wrestles. When Joe retires from this game, he should just open a wrestling figure toy store of only guys he likes. Business would go
his home.
Very poorly. Business would go very, very poorly. Very, very poorly. Just Roderick Strong figures scattered across a huge room. Tremendous. The machine gun Carl Anderson in the corner. Be good stuff. I would like to get Ray Jr. and his dipshit son. Yes, so that would also be very good.
Why?
That should happen. Ray Jr. is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I don't care.
Yeah, but why do you want Dominic? There's plenty of just single Ray Jr.
No, I mean at the house show.
Oh, at the house show.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking figure collection. Okay.
Very confusing, I understand.
Yeah, apologies.
Do you know that Confirmed Shoot and I did a 4-hour stream yesterday where we just reacted to the AEW Dark Scoops? Do you know that?
I saw you guys were on at 5:30, and then I saw that you tweeted like 6 hours later that you were finally done.
Yeah, that was something that sounded very funny in theory and was actually much less funny because we had no comment on anyone they booked, so it didn't really go the way I thought it would, you know?
I mean, who were you going to comment on?
Well, last time they booked like a lot of the NXT folks, right?
This one was just like Nice, right?
Yeah, which is cool, but you know.
But you did this after the first session, so you thought like there was going to be like big surprises in the second session?
Yeah, we thought Dwayne The Rock Johnson was going to be there.
Oh.
There was actually discussions and shoots. He's the one that first broke it. We kind of thought there was a chance that Barack Obama would be there, but he did not show up. Nor did The Rock.
Work yourself into a shoot by thinking that
Agree.
something like this is going to happen.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's discussion about Naomi.
Why?
Apparently, she still works for the World Wrestling Federation.
Do you
Wish
know
her well in
even
that
though
regard.
she's a former champion, she just hasn't proved anything?
Who's that? Is that like a Peter Rosenberg bit or something?
No, that's what they're doing on television bits.
Oh. I thought it was like one of those like Sam Roberts things where they say on the pre-show.
This is literally what they're doing on TV. Is Naomi shows up and Sonya Deville is like, I don't know if you're actually any good.
Sorry to hear that. I mean, fair in the sense that belt, like fair, but in Naomi's case, considering she's worked there for about 15 years, it feels like it's probably a little tough.
Yeah.
Jack has reminded me of the Rhea Ripley slander that once nearly got me in a fist fight on a fantasy draft you and I did. Very angry now. Blood has boiled. So anyway, Jeremy, have you seen Halloween Kills?
I have not. Do I need to watch this movie?
No.
Okay.
Have you seen the original Halloween?
It's been a while.
Have you seen the 2018 Halloween that is a sequel to the original Halloween?
I don't watch like horror.
Have you seen Halloween 2, which is a direct sequel to the original Halloween?
No. What are you doing for Halloween, Joseph, besides going
Nothing.
to a WWE live event?
I'm going to dress like Roderick Strong and backbreaking people in the street.
I thought you were doing Paul Heyman.
I'm not doing anything. I'll probably watch a spooky movie and pop myself. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
What
not a
day
big,
is Halloween on?
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
Very spooky. Very spooky.
What are we doing for our show on Thursday for Halloween? Or do we have to dress up?
No.
Okay,
No, we're
good.
not doing that.
So I don't feel like I don't want to dress up.
We're going to review Halloween.
What if we did that? We just reviewed Halloween Kills.
Dynamite is finally back on Wednesday nights, and we just do a full review of the franchise. In great detail. We don't even reference wrestling once. That's what we'd have done in our prime, man. We used to, back in the olden days. Now we're kind of popular now. We feel the need to pretend we care about certain stuff. It's a shame. NWA champ Trevor Murdoch was attacked by Mike Knox. Sorry to hear that.
Oh, man.
Imagine if you just scouted the independents rather than booking guys based on 2008 WWF. You'd probably have a much more interesting promotion.
When was the last time Mike Knox wrestled?
I don't know. I feel bad for Mike Knox because he's just doing what's asked of him and he's getting violently dunked on, but it is what it is. It's a long time ago.
I mean, he's wrestled he wrestled 2 matches this year, including an Aces and Eights reunion. Actually, his 2 matches this year were both Aces and Eights reunion matches. So
what does that mean, Aces and Eights? Like D'Lo Brown?
Doc, Garrett Bischoff,
Of course.
Nux. I guess Nux is Knox. Wes Briscoe. D'Lo Brown. Yeah, there you go.
Jeremy, as you run down those names there, it was really hard for me to figure out why that faction wasn't a smash hit, difficult, but
he hasn't really wrestled consistently since 2016. So
I'm sure it's fine.
Great angle that they're shooting there and the National Wrestling Alliance. Can we buy them yet? We've got our own channel. I bet we do more views than them, right?
Did you see the NXT, not NXT UK, whatever UK promotion it was? Did you see their YouTube views on the WWE's YouTube? It was like 200 views.
Progress, yeah.
God bless, man. What an incredible turn of events, huh?
People don't know those shows are on anymore.
You got to be very careful in this world, folks. Just sometimes you can chase the quick buck, Next thing you know, all your friends are exposed as sex pests and you're fucked. You know? I agree, Jack. I think Darius Lockhart will be a great top guy for the NWA, but they don't know who that is because he wasn't on SmackDown 15 years ago. So
I have no idea who Darius Lockhart is.
factual. As I said a couple of weeks back on Patreon, latenightgreen.com. No, not the latenightgreen.com. You can, there's a different universe, a different timeline where Daniel Garcia is the NWA champ and has been for the last 2 years and has great matches everywhere he goes. But instead, we live in this timeline where everyone has to be over 40 to get a shot at the title. It's a shame. Lots of progress talk. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, why are we talking? Why'd you bring up
Because I just like dunking on my fellow Brits. It's one of the things I do around here.
I mean, we're kicking the shit out of them in views.
One of my favorite ongoing bits is that, like, I just don't like any British wrestler. It's not actually true, but it is a thing that I like to utilize. Has Billy Corgan found Charlie Huss contact him?
He wrestled not too long ago, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think he's
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Have you seen that the World Wrestling Federation is going to try to go head to head with All Out, AEW's All Out pay-per-view extravaganza?
I saw that. I don't think they're going head to head, but
Did you see they're going to go head to head and battle?
they are running the same weekend, which is tremendous. Apparently that one's going to be in the UK, so we'll probably get the WWE pay-per-view. It could just be like an all day of wrestling, which great.
Sorry to hear that.
Can't wait for that as someone who has to cover a lot of this stuff. I want to go to All Out as well, and if like they're doing
AEW
like
All
that,
Out,
yeah, like if they're gonna do shows like that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to All Out. You said you were gonna go to All Out. Like if you're there and that's the first opportunity we can actually hang out, I feel like I'll just have to be like, fuck WWE, and work. I'll just go.
So, would you like me to reveal the information here live on the air? Would you like me to give the scoop away?
Yeah.
After being rejected by multiple major stadiums, the World Wrestling Federation will be running my garden in the coming weeks. NXT UK is going to start here because we know no one will want to attend those anyway, so we can just get an idea on production. And then we're going to shoot for Super Showdown, which I believe is what we're going to call the event here in my backyard. I have some control over who is booked and who is not. It looks like Roderick Strong is booked. We are currently penciled in Brock Lesnar versus Alexa Bliss, which should go well. There's a lot to get excited about when it comes to that event. Now, I will say, in all seriousness, though, it ain't gonna feel like a massive event. I don't think. Like, it'll be a cool spectacle because they're gonna sell out like a big stadium in the UK, and that's really awesome.
Yeah.
But like the way that the build will feel, it will not feel like it's competing with All That at all. It will feel very different.
It's coming off of SummerSlam, right? Like SummerSlam is what, like a couple weeks before that?
It's a little longer because SummerSlam's in July this year.
Oh, right, they moved it, yeah.
But the point, like, look, remember when Super Showdown in Australia happened? It was like, it was cool and all, but it isn't going to feel like a big four. It just isn't. In the arena, it will because people are going to be excited and loud, and it's going to be awesome. But it is what it is. All Out will be the culmination of 3 months or whatever, 2 months. So it's just different, and people are going to lose their mind, but it'll be fine. I'm intrigued where it'll be. Principality will be interesting.
I think this All Out's going to feel big too because like they ain't running one arena next year. They're going, assuming they stay in Chicago, like they're going United Center again, I would imagine.
What is the baseball stadium in Chicago?
Well, you can do Wrigley. That's the Cubs stadium. And I think Century Field is the White Sox stadium. I really don't know the name of the White Sox stadium, but there are a baseball field. There's two because there's the guaranteed rate field is the White Sox stadium. So
intrigued
which one you want to run.
CM Punk in a world title match. It'd be intriguing to see what kind of business that would do.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be hard because then he'd basically have to win, which I don't think is where they're going, but it's just interesting.
A year away, though. Over a year away. Or not quite over, but like it's a year away. a lot can change. I know like Tony Khan has the next 10 years mapped out, but things can change, and maybe they do go with Punk next year.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Breaking news, the Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, and the Big LG retain their Impact World Tag Team titles at Bound for Glory.
Good for them.
Just reached my timeline, so I thought I'd announce that to everyone. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
The crowd was very red hot for that match, so let me tell you.
It was a multi-team match again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Which is 100% a rib on me at this point, let's be honest.
It was Bullet Club, Bay and Hikuleo, and Finn Juice against Good Brothers.
Bay and Hikuleo, the Bullet Club tandem.
Oh.
It's definitely what we were envisioning for Chris Bay when he got given that shirt, right? Definitely. I guess the West Coast thing, I'd imagine, is happening soon for AEW, but it is interesting.
Oh, yeah, they'll be running because they wanted to run before the pandemic. They were talking about doing like in the summer, I think. They wanted to go to California.
Cowards.
I mean, a lot of those guys, big followings in PWG and everything. I imagine California. They were in Colorado at some point. They were in Utah. I think Utah was the last show before they kind of shut everything down. So like they were close to hitting the actual coast. I think California is the first kind of West Coast show because with that PWG following a lot of those guys have, they'll do big business in California.
It'll be kind of fun to see how the crowds take to those, right?
Yeah.
Hikabeo, says Joel Pearl.
Joel Pearl needs to shut up.
My God. It's always interesting when you see Joel Pearl and JJ one after the other in the chat. Like an Impact Alliance forming.
Oh, okay.
Makes me feel in danger somewhat. Yeah. The Impact AEW partnership thing is interesting. Look, was it perfect? No. Ideally, does Kenny Omega lose to an Impact guy? Certainly. But it feels like, I'll be honest, I think people are very delusional as to where they'd be without that thing through the pandemic, because those empty arena shows, I think they would have fallen even further into irrelevance if they didn't have the AEW stuff. I'm just going to get, and look, maybe I'll be proven wrong over the next year, and they're going to get red hot with their own talent, but I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't know where they would be if they didn't have the Omega Pop for the end of the year and the beginning of the year. Like, because Omega was big for them like when he first came in, and then gradually just he kind of meant less and less. But he still did well for their pay-per-view numbers. Like, if they didn't have him, I have no idea where they would be.
Because by Bound for Glory last year, they had very much lost their buzz.
Yeah, they were hot coming out of Slammiversary with the debuts and stuff. I don't even remember what was on Bound for Glory. Is that when Swan won the title?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's just I think the major shift happened with Impact and AEW when whatever happened with Sammy Guevara went down. Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe that could be like a.
It's really hard because if the issue there was Sammy not wanting to lose to someone, it's like, I know he should have, but like, I get it, Like, it's just the balance dynamic there is the power dynamic there probably just doesn't work for it to be like a really. They can be friendly and do some stuff every once in a while, but I just don't know if I do not know if it's ever going to be something that's as fully fledged as probably they would hope. Sadly,
right.
But maybe I'm wrong. Hang on a second. Twitter.com is being very aggressive.
What happened on Twitter?
No, I DM.
JJ confirms Bound for Glory last year was Eric Young versus Rich Swann, which cool.
Yep. Guess what Gallows and Anderson did at that show, Jeremy?
They were in a triple threat tag. They lost. Did they lose the titles? They won the titles. They were in a triple threat tag. I don't remember who the hell they faced.
There was multi teams. That's all I know. And I actually think it was a four corners tag.
Oh, was it? Okay. Let's look. Let's see if we can remember the Bound for Glory 2020 card, Joseph.
Because we know for a fact it wasn't an actual tag match because they're not allowed to book those contractually.
They
So
can't. Yeah.
there were 3 or 4 teams.
Okay. It was the North, Motor City Machine Guns, Good Brothers, and Ace Austin and Madman Fulton.
Yeah. What I like to do, Dream, and this is where I'm really creative as a booker, is I like to pay guys handsomely, and when they're not like flashy and can't fit the modern multi-team tag, I just put them in that match over and over again to make them seem like the least interesting part of my tag division. That's what I do personally with my highest paid talent, but I'm really creative in that regard, you know?
Su Yung defeated Diana for the Knockouts title.
That was the Kylie Ray thing.
Yeah. Moose defeated EC3.
Yeah.
Rhino won the gimmick battle royal thing
Fucking Rhino.
that Heath was supposed to win, but he got injured.
Yeah.
Rohit Raju was the X Division champion. He beat Chris Bay, Jordan Grace, TJP, Trey Miguel, and Willie Mack in a 6-way scramble. And Ken Shamrock beat Eddie Edwards. Remember Ken Shamrock?
Did you see that they've got a new belt called the Digital Media Championship?
Yes, I did. I don't know what it actually is, but I did see that
Like,
it was a thing.
surely someone could have sat down and come up with a better name than that, right?
What do you want them to call it?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
Like,
the Internet Championship is taken. Cardona's got rights to that.
it's just
The
brutal. Why would
Social
you-
Media Championship, the 24/7 title is taken. The Twitter
Fine.
title. What if they just called it the Twitter title?
Bob O'Neill would be challenging
Yeah.
for it immediately.
Impact Twitter title.
I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be a better name than Digital Media.
Again, what do you
That's
then
insane.
come up with it, Joseph?
I'm not paid by Impact Wrestling.
Do you think Kyrie Irving should have been one of the top 75 players in the NBA?
That dude's man, what a character.
And Reese is the Discourse Championship.
There you go. I now want to look at the because when I read this the first time, I thought I was in like some sort of fever dream. The Call Your Shot Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
No, they call it a gauntlet, right?
Yeah, it's a
Call Your
gauntlet.
Sh-
Yeah, it's a gauntlet
But-
battle royale.
Isn't a gauntlet match when like guys get pinned and another guy comes in?
Yes, this is
That's
like
not
a
what this
rumble
was.
more than anything.
Cowards.
Yeah,
Rocky Romero is very good.
yeah.
He gets booked for every promotion in the world as a rib. I respect it. The next surprise was Johnny Swinger.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really a
Melina.
surprise. Like he's on the roster.
Anytime Johnny Swinger shows up on any promotion's WrestleMania, I consider it to be a surprise. I think you should too, but okay.
All right, fair.
Melina, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
The Demon, not to be confused with the Kiss Demon.
not to be confused with Finn Balor either.
Factual, definitely not to be confused. I don't think that was even necessary to make that joke, to be honest. Yeah, the thought of that is so. Laredo Kid,
Yeah.
Sam Beal,
Again, not a surprise. He's been on TV.
Alicia Edwards,
Not a surprise.
W. Morrissey,
He was actually announced.
Matt Cardona,
Not really a surprise.
Madman Fulton,
No, he's on the roster.
Mean Mark Callis. Thought about it for a minute. He was like, maybe he's been on
I
it.
was like, hey, he's got He might be on the roster. I don't know.
He might be.
Undertaker. Say Undertaker got the biggest pop of the night. Swinger did get the biggest pop of the night. Like that's facts,
he's
which,
fun.
I mean,
He's a fun character.
he is. Like I don't have anything against him. He's fine in that environment, but when Johnny Swinger's getting the biggest pop of the night, like
He's going to do a skit with the inspiration,
yes.
and everyone's going to just tweet it and be like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen," and it will make the promotion not a penny, not a cent.
but it's gonna get them some type of buzz, right? People are gonna think.
Yeah. Get them buzz, yeah. Oh, I don't know.
People are gonna watch the skit on Twitter, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I can't miss Impact Wrestling now." And like, when's it air? It's gonna be 8 p.m. Eastern Thursdays on Access TV, and they're gonna be like, "I don't have Access TV." It's like, well, for $1, you can watch it on YouTube. And they're gonna be like, "I'd rather pay $1 a month to late9grin.com."
That's an interesting kind of thing to ponder. Is what's the better value? I think the Grim wins it comfortably on terms of just quantity. I don't think they have enough quality to make up the difference.
Yeah.
Do you get any like archive TNA?
I have no idea. Joel Pearl might know. JJ might know, but I have no idea.
It's interesting. Late night Grim Pact.
What if we did a stream head to head with Impact? I mean, our Twitch stream kind of goes head to head with it, but
who's Twitch? I don't do Twitch anymore, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's true. Joel Pearl and Steven Jensen will play video games on Thursdays on Twitch now that Impact cowardly moved away from Twitch and we can't do the watch along anymore.
He broke my heart today, Steven Jensen.
What happened? I
logged on twitter.com my first time today, and Steven Jensen was like, I would really be happy to see Charlotte Flair in AEW. And I felt like I tweeted this. I felt like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas when he goes to become a made man and they shoot him in the back of the head. That's what I felt like when I logged on.
I'm going to invite Jensen on. We're going to wrap up here in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I'd like to tell him how much it hurt me.
Yeah, I'm going to invite Jensen on and be like, please come on for a couple minutes and defend Charlotte Flair in AEW. Let's end where we began.
He's too nice. He's too nice for this business, you know? Want to thrive off that negativity.
How should I word this? Should I say, like, politely ask him, like, hey, please come on and defend? Or should I be like, Joseph is calling you a coward? And
say that he broke my heart.
Okay.
Which is true.
Joseph has said you broke his heart with your Charlotte AEW tweet. Would you like to make it up to him?
Factual.
There. I've sent Steven Jensen the link to this.
As Damon says, we need to give Jensen a grin-avention. It's very good.
I love the puns that everyone does with the grin stuff.
I do too. This is Steven Jensen. He's one of the great characters in our business. But
I did the Impact watch along, Bound for Glory review with him.
Did you kick the shit out of him, or did he kick the shit out of you?
Nah, dude, it was 1 a.m. We were both just tired and trying to get through the show so we could go to bed. You kidding me? My timing was very good though, because I ended it right when Suzuki and Gage started. So like we ended the show and then we watched Suzuki and Gage kick the shit out of each other.
Did the Impact fans get very upset at you guys?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to them. It's just JJ and Joel. Like I don't pay attention to them.
Yeah. Fair. Didn't think you were going to go that direction with it. Yeah, sure. I assumed like when you talked to me about the show, it sounded like you were down on it. So I was like, oh man, I can only imagine that the Impact fans are not very happy about this. But
the fans were a little bit all over the place. Like some people enjoyed the ending and were like, "This is great, Moose deserves it," and then those same people were also like, "But he also probably should have had it 3 years ago." But they tried to justify it, like he should have had it 3 years ago. He deserves it. And then most people were just kind of like, "Yeah, that ending kind of sucked."
Did any of them sing "We Own the Night"?
No, they don't. These Impact fans are not like actual Impact fans, because a lot of them like, oh, just watch Impact for the first time. It was a good show. Moose won. Then I'm like, are you gonna watch it again? And they're like, probably not. So they're just a bunch of fake fans. Like at least
wow.
JJ and Joel are like actual fans and will watch the show. I don't know if Joel does anymore. I think Joel's doing a bit, but like at least they'll like watch the show. Like a lot of these fans, they don't actually watch it.
Wow, you've just owned TNA Mecca. The Impact Zone is in shambles.
Yeah, Joel Pearl says one dude sent a super chat bitching about people bitching about Impact. I don't actually remember that super chat, but like I'll take your word for it. That was a lifetime ago, that Saturday show. Oh wait, I have a DM. It is from Steven Jensen. All right, here we go, folks. He'll be on shortly. I hope he knows like he has a time cue because like we got to get out of here by 5.
What if he doesn't know and he just never gets here? We just
Then I'm just gonna cut him off. I have power. Just cut him off on here.
Okay, this is gonna be funny.
Joel Pearl says, "I have my people watch and report." You don't have people, Joel Pearl. What is my people? You have an assistant?
Oh my God. Wow. JJ says he watches the product, TV specials, and pay-per-views.
Like JJ's like an actual fan. Bless him. Like he's an actual fan. He's my Impact scoopster. When I need results from a show, I'm like, JJ, what happened on this show? He's like, well, here you go. It's like, thanks, buddy.
That rules. That's very good. The Rick and Green. That's also very good. Yeah, look, I'm all for loyalty to the Impact Wrestling. You know, that's the promotion you love. God bless, but it's tough. It's tough. It's increasingly difficult for me, Jeremy.
Yeah, they're hard to kill.
I've heard that, yes.
Yeah. They're so hard to kill, they named their pay-per-view after that. It's
Do you know they're bound for glory?
I actually love that they just named their pay-per-view Hard to Kill. Like,
yeah,
you guys every year thought we were going to die. We're not. Now we're going to make money off of this name. Tremendous.
I mean, I respect it. It's certainly a choice. That's the way they're going to brand themselves. But, you know,
great.
Lean into the bit, brother. I appreciate it. It's like WCW going out on events like Sin and Greed, which was more poignant than they ever quite realized when Vince Russo drew those up. But, yeah.
What happened to Jay White being there? He came in, he did tapings, and that was it. What you expected some type of payoff between that White and Omega confrontation to end Slammiversary? Is that what you expected? I don't know. Sorry. That's your fault for thinking that was going somewhere.
That was interesting. He was really good on their TV, at least. I know it doesn't mean anything, but like there was something there for a moment, you know? And then he just the Omega thing obviously died, and then Omega was never on again after Rampage, right?
No, not after he lost the title. No, it's like done.
Objectively, that rules.
Done with this. Steven Jensen better hurry up. Like, we got time cues here.
Yeah, this is not going to be a long segment. It's just going to be me crying on air. Elix Skipper article. Where was that?
Yeah, that was on Fightful. I did that, the one where we talked about the cage spot like last week. I posted another Elix Skipper article today where we talked about All Japan not paying and everything.
Joel Pearl just reminded me of that LA show New Japan did where they the cameras didn't work and shit, and I paid money for it. Never been saying
Remember Guerrillas of Destiny came out and their music didn't play? That was the biggest misfire of the year. It's Guerrillas of Destiny.
Yeah, Machine Gun was
their music. Yeah, Machine.
He was pissed about that, man. You could feel it. This big moment they've been building to, and it just was an absolute mess in every way. Oh. That show was a nightmare. I'm told the wrestling was good, and I'll never ever know. Like it just was. It was just a nightmare production. I remember the show starting and it being all like, you know, all the screen breaking up, and just thinking, oh no.
You were so disappointed with how that show.
Paid real money for that thing, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Me too. Plays We Are Wild and Young over Jensen defending Ashley El Idolo.
That's gonna be her name in the fleet, isn't it?
No, she's trademarked Ashley Flair.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, a couple of years back.
Oh, okay, I believe you.
Yeah, I may have made that up. Actually, I don't know.
Here we go. Well,
is Steven Jensen here?
There he is. Oh my God, Steven Jensen always has like the best looks. Look at this man.
Oh,
Hey!
oh my goodness. Here
What's up,
he is.
guys? I rushed over to my my office over here to jump on with you guys.
Oh, you
It's
got
inside
10
my-
minutes. We got a time cue. We got to get out of here. You got 10 minutes to repair the damage you have done to your friendship. with Joseph
What?
Hulbert.
Well, so what
Yeah.
did Joseph say? I guess I need catch me up real quick.
That's fine. I can do that.
Do you
I
want me to
logged
read
off.
the tweet?
No, I just want to paint the picture for a moment here.
Okay.
I logged off Twitter at some point, and I was content for once in my life. I felt like everyone agreed with me. You know, Charlotte Flair slander was running wild. I finally felt safe to share my opinions on the Queen Charlotte Flair. I was grinning wide. I was having a great time. I logged back on. I assumed things hadn't changed. You know, I assumed that we would all be together in this as a family. And there he is, Steven Jensen with his blue tick, and he says, "I would love if Charlotte Flair came to AEW." And I threw my phone out the window, then went and retrieved it afterwards, obviously. Immediately felt like I'd walked into some sort of assassination. One of my favorite people on Twitter turning his back on me like this at a time of triumph and celebration. There he is, opening the door to the enemy, folks. Broke my heart, Steven Jensen. Broke my heart.
So I'm a bit confused as to I guess where do you stand on why are you I'm like I can't tell if I'm being worked right now or if how serious you're being so are you really upset at the idea of Charlotte Flair going to AEW or I can't tell.
No, I'm just using it for content, really. I mean,
Okay,
I don't really
yeah,
want it to come. I don't really want it to come to AEW because I'm not a big fan. We've discussed this before, but I've decided that when she does come to AEW, I'm going to do a month where I refuse to watch it and don't comment on it as a bit.
Okay.
So then I kind of turn that into just burying you for no apparent reason.
Well,
you know,
it's funny because I don't really check Twitter that often. So I tweeted that today and then I realized oh wow, a lot of people have opinions on this. So
It got over. I will by the way, the actual tweet is not I would love. It is I really, 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 really want Charlotte Flair to jump to AEW. 123 comments, 76 retweets, 663 likes.
how many quote tweets?
34.
Yeah, there's plenty of those too, I'm sure. Because here's the thing, I see people out there comparing this to Tessa and stuff, and it's this isn't the same thing.
That's probably a little bit far.
No, but it's okay. So hold on. So you're not. I mean, I have to be honest. When I'm not doing something that I have to be doing when it comes to wrestling or MMA, I'm fairly disconnected usually.
Yeah.
Unless and. So I don't know the full story with all the Charlotte stuff, but I from what I gather, it seems like her and Becky clashed heads. Her and the company have been clashing heads. Obviously, Andrade left the company on probably not very good terms and all that stuff. And to me, this doesn't seem and I know that she threw the belt or whatever or dropped the belt or whatever. Here's the thing: was it unprofessional to do that stuff? Sure, but would that exclude me from wanting her in AEW? When I would not want John Moxley or not want CM Punk or not want Andrade or any of these other people that left the WWE because they did Bray Wyatt. Y'all think Michael Jordan was a fun guy to play basketball with? You know what I mean? He probably sucked being his teammate. You know what I mean? But they were winning, right? And that was a big part of it too. If you're an AEW fan, you don't want Charlotte Flair. You don't want one of the best, most recognizable.
Too far. So
dude,
I was with you.
Dude, so once again, I live in Atlanta. She's around. I've seen her at the Ivy in Atlanta before, which is a pretty well-known place around here. I've seen her and Andrade in person. Everyone's running up to Charlotte Flair. Knows who she is. Hardly. Andrade is still, in comparison to her, Charlotte's a way bigger star. I still, So the point is, is she maybe difficult to work with a little bit here and there? Maybe, but people were saying the same thing about John Moxley. He's hard to work with. He doesn't like it. His attitude sucks, blah, blah, blah. He got out. Now all you hear is all the guys he's helping on the indies, all the people he's helping in AEW, all this selfless stuff he's doing, his attitude, him wanting to pitch in and help. The one side of it that I will say though, right, just to be to the seesaw of this. When you re-sign with the WWE, you know what you're getting. And that's where I feel I will defend the WWE and the people that don't want Charlotte or whatever the issue is. Because there's also a whole layer of this that I feel like is similar to Cody Rhodes stuff, where like I get why people dislike him to a degree, but like I feel like the it just gets like really, really, really hyper focused and becomes such a bigger thing because he's like, they're like these people who are like super ultra successful in wrestling. And some people think they don't deserve it for various reasons, or they think they're going to hold people down and all this stuff. Like the comments I've been seeing about Charlotte are like, you want her in AEW? Why? So she can beat Britt Baker in 3 minutes? And it's like, y'all think that more than one person can't be pushed at a time in a wrestling company. Like you wouldn't want Charlotte. You tell me you wouldn't want Charlotte versus Britt Baker? Like regardless of the outcome, who wouldn't want that? Like,
so
I don't know.
Here's the thing, Stephen Jensen. At this current moment, as we sit on the 25th of October, 2021, it may appear that you have owned me. Okay.
Well, no, I'm not. That wasn't the goal.
It may appear that way, though. It may appear that way.
But my thing is this: like, give me in all honesty, somebody out there in the chat anywhere, give me a good reason outside of Charlotte might be disgruntled with the WWE right now that you wouldn't want her in AEW. You could tell me she's going to ruin the locker room. You really think her versus the entire locker room, like she's going to win out on these conversations and these arguments? Like,
well, I don't know, Stephen Jensen, but in June of 2023, when in a 6-minute Dynamite match with Ty Conti, Charlotte just leaves the ring because she's had enough of being judo thrown. I'll at you and I'll say I was not owned, Stephen Jensen.
hey, here's the thing. I love Ty Conti. I love what AEW has done with their women's division. But it's also one of those things. Like, but in all honesty, man, like right now, or even 6 months from now, I guess it depends on where things are. Like it's similar to like if Roman Reigns, let's say Roman Reigns just started no show. Well, he's done this before, but let's say he stops coming to the shows, right? For any reason, but the reasons start becoming because he's disgruntled with the company. I'm just going to say Roman Reigns as an example. You can use Randy Orton as an example. Anyone who's like super well established in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And the only things out there are, well, they're mad about where they are in the show. They're arguing with people backstage, and they're just not doing business with people the right way. Is that going to stop you from wanting these people in AEW? Like, in all honesty, like, because I think the thing with the culture of AEW that people are concerned about is it seems to be all sunshine and rainbows over there for the most part backstage. Like, people get along really well. They play video games. They've changed. The culture seems to be a place that people really like to be at. Adam Cole he loved AEW or WWE as well, but he loves AEW. It seems like Malachi Black and John Moxley and all these people, they love it over there. But so it's also one of those things, like you think that like one person, let's say Charlotte goes over there and she does have an attitude problem. I think that would get nixed so fast. They'd be like, all right, well, this wasn't worth it for us. Like they don't, their entire success of their company doesn't rely on signing one person, but that one person could potentially help you out a lot, especially if we're talking the women's division. Like, because that's been the one thing about AEW that people constantly are saying, well, it's all good, but like Impact might have a better knockouts division. WWE might have, a better group of women. That's a hard conversation if you got what they've established in AEW up to this point and also add Charlotte Flair into that. And then they also need to just be super, 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 once again, looking at it from both sides. But we got to keep it real here. Because I could make the same argument in a lot of ways for Tessa, right? If I was just to base it off of talent in the ring. But her things are linked to things that are much different than just not getting along with people. That's a much different conversation.
So I think the issue we've run into here, Stephen Jensen, is that you appear to be approaching this objectively, which I don't know if you know what channel you're on here, but check the ego at the door. No, you're right. No, look, seriously, everything you're saying is true, and anyone that's approaching it with the kind of, in the sense of morality, is wrong. She's not done anything heinous. She's not, she's had issues in a wrestling locker room, whatever, who cares? My take is literally as in-depth as I do not like seeing Charlotte Flair on wrestling television anymore, and I don't want it to be on the show that I watch. I agree with you completely that anyone who's like trying to spell it out as being a bad decision, no. If she leaves, obviously Tony Khan is going to sign her as soon as he can. I get all of that, but you know how it is, man. Sometimes you just No, I just got away from that shit where she comes out and says bow down. I don't want it to be on fucking Dynamite.
Right. And here's the thing. I think that your sentiments are shared by most people that are like really negative against the idea of her going anywhere else, is because they're already sick of her as is, and they think she's been over pushed, and they think she's always the champion, and that there should be new people that, because maybe if she wasn't the champion this whole time, someone like a Ruby Soho could be still where she was before, and the WWE fans probably wanted her not to go to begin with, and you have that layer to it as well, for sure. But I forgot what I was going to say about that now, but basically, you know, when it comes to, let me put it this way. So with Charlotte, I totally get that mindset, but you also have to keep in mind, from me, and once again, these are all just my opinions at the end of the day, I only watch the WWE on pay-per-view. So I only see Charlotte like once a month. And to me, she's always entertaining. Her matches are always good. And I like that she's always featured in title matches there, because to me, she seems like a big deal every time I see her. But I'm also only watching the show once a month. So but then again, keep this in mind, everybody. AEW, they do a great job of spacing their talent out. Like, you don't see every wrestler every week. And I don't think that this would be a problem with someone like Charlotte coming over. Because she wouldn't, it's not like she comes in and just totally clogs up the entire women's division.
It would be different, yeah.
Yeah, so.
She wouldn't be cutting in-ring promos every week. It would be the presentation. You are right. It's a different format, for sure.
Yeah, so I just, you know, but once again, from that perspective, Joseph, I do get it. And I do think that's where a lot of like the passionate, fans that, because honestly, I think a lot of the people that don't want Charlotte in AEW don't want Charlotte in WWE either. I think they're just over Charlotte in general.
Yes.
Whereas, I'm a big fan. So
yeah. That's fair. I'm glad we settled this. Okay.
Well, all I got,
I kind of think you got severely dunked on there, Joseph.
I agree. I said that, right? I said,
oh my god! Oh, well, Jensen ruined it with a dab.
I dabbed on him. Are you kidding me? That's the ultimate disrespect, dude. Yo, I was literally just hanging out, just doing my.
Jensen's
thing.
I was hanging out. I got a DM that said
hang on.
Joseph's heart was broken, and then I just came on here and decided to just rip it into 30,000 pieces.
I thought I had actually upset Joseph, and I was like, I need to make sure that me and Joseph are cool. So I jumped on here.
Look, I agree. I was actually the first one that made it clear that I had been owned. I think time will tell in all these matters. And I'll return to this subject when Charlotte Flair pins Thunder Rosa in 90 seconds at All Out 2024. And then we'll settle this once and for all. But yeah.
Fair enough, y'all. Fair enough.
Everybody, we got to go. The tape machines are rolling. Steven Jensen, let the people know where they can find you at.
This Saturday, I gotta hit up Sean to remind him, and anyone who's with Fightful, feel free to join, because this Saturday afternoon should be Fightful Fight Day. We have Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira taking place from Abu Dhabi, so it's the middle of the day Eastern time. So I don't know the exact time yet, but we'll be watching that, youtube.com/Fightful. And then there will be a Fightful Fight Night the following week as well, because there's a UFC 267. So we got two big MMA shows coming up for all you fight fans over here at Fightful. And then follow me on Twitter, @FightTalk_. And, get in on these juicy takes like everyone else is right now.
Joseph?
What about? What do you want me to plug stuff?
Do you want to plug anything?
Yes, I do.
Tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, ROH.
Yes.
Yes, that's also a thing we do that I'm glad Jensen reminded me of. That's the thing you can watch us all do with Robert O'Neill, the handsomest man in professional wrestling media. You can also tune into AEW Rampage at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT this Friday to watch the American Dragon Bryan Danielson in his semi-final bout with the Mad King Eddie Kingston. You can also tune in on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Or, if you're on the West Coast, maybe 5 p.m., check your local listings. And there's stuff on that show that I've forgotten right now, but I would list it if I could. Please pre-order full. Hang on. Let me conclude my pitch. Please pre-order AEW Full Gear on November 13th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Other than that, I think that's about it. If I've covered everything in my brand that I'm getting paid for right now, so there you go.
Okay.
Follow Roderick Strong on Twitter @Roderick Strong.
Yeah, buy Robert
will
Strong
be
action figures.
First on
Yes.
Twitch, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming tomorrow, 3 o'clock. I believe we're doing some more WWE 2K. Maybe we'll do something else. I don't know. But it'll be Joe Pearl and I on Twitch, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. We will be back on this channel, youtube.com/Fightful Distraction. Tomorrow at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. Us three and Robert O'Neill reviewing the latest episode of ROH Television and watching a classic match. Joseph, what match are we watching?
Unless I'm mistaken, we're watching AJ Styles versus Paul London.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
great
go.
match.
Good
All right.
stuff. For people
There
who
you
don't
go.
remember, Paul London was the man back in like the early
Absolutely.
2000s, so that'll be fun.
They're going to find out tomorrow if they don't remember, because I'm pretty sure it's a classic. We'll see that. It'll be fun.
All right, everybody. We'll be back Twitch tomorrow, this channel tomorrow. Thank you guys. Appreciate all the love and support.